if you'd like to give us an update. I know it's been a little bit busy summer, so we'll get into some questions.
Welcome back for the school year, man. We're excited. We had a really good summer, guys. We could put in a lot of hard work this summer. Ended with our foreign trip. Obviously, we get to do these, foreign trips every 4 years, and this was our first one, and it was a great experience for us. Our guys got a chance to, obviously, bond even more from a basketball standpoint, but just the time that they were able to spend with each other in hotels and in foreign countries, get to experience different cultures and just to build that camaraderie, I think is huge for us. I've talked to a number of coaches, who've had these, these trips and always felt that they were really, a big part of them having a great year. So we're excited about being able to have the extra practices, the extra time, especially with the young guys that we have, kind of our own board and them learning our system, along with, our older players. We were finally getting to the point where we have some older players, we have some leadership, and we're excited about, what they've, done this summer to help our younger group. Especially, you can just see it. That's the signs of a really good team when you start to see your older players pulling guys to the side and letting them know when they've made mistakes or things that they need to correct, and it's not always coming from the coaches. So that was, a welcome sight and something that we've worked hard up until this point to get there, and it's finally an opportunity for us to really take a big step from where we were, how we finished the season last year. Obviously had great momentum from last season. Really felt that we, gave one away. As far as the NIT tournament goes, I mean, seeing Xavier go on and win it, we know that we felt like we should have beat that team. We had them in situations where we just our own mistakes cost us ultimately possibly an opportunity to go to New York and really showcase who we were at the end of the season. So we're excited about building on that momentum and ready to get going. The guys are in classes now. They got all their schedules set, so we know how we're going to operate as far as our practices and everything goes for this first semester, and ready to get going.
What were your main takeaways, from what you saw on the court in France and Italy?
Well, I think we have. I think from what we saw, I mean, it's another level of speed that we haven't had in the past. I think we've always kind of. We like to be opportunistic with our running. Whenever we get some opportunities, every time you hear me yelling, push it, trying to get out and go and get some easy opportunities. But I think we really got the personnel to do more of that now. Even our bigs are running. They rim run. They get down the floor at a great pace for us. Our guard play. Probably with adding Ezra Manzan to our lineup, give us speed that we just haven't had since we've been here on both ends of the floor. Not only his ability to push it himself offensively, but his ability to get into the ball defensively is something that we've been looking for, and hopefully we can that can be a gold standard. Or I always talked about kind of Rodney Chapman and being the gold standard because of what he could do defensively. I think Ezra is right in that same mold of guys that can, he's pretty much a defense within himself with the way he can pick the ball up 94 feet and how he can really harass the opposing team's point guard in the half court.
Well, what are your impressions of the freshmen so far now that you've gotten to see them, against live competition a little bit?
Our freshmen, they had really good summers. I think when you go down the line, you look, Colin Smith, that they all had their moments, good and bad. So I think but I just think him from the standpoint of picking up what we're doing, both offensively and defensively, just having a really, really high IQ of being in the right places and doing the right things. His ability to step out and make shots. He's going to continue to improve with his ball handling and playmaking on in pick and roll situations and things like that as he continues to develop. Lee Dort, from just his sheer size and strength, is Q and Liam battling against that type of strength every day, and him battling against their understanding and skill set has been fun to watch. This summer, I mean, he's a lob threat for us, a guy that we can throw it up to around the basket. He's getting better with his back to the basket, but again, just has a uncanny ability for a big man to understand what we're doing. Noah Shelby, probably one of the best shooters that we've had. Again, just his continuing to learn defensively, his assignments and things like that. The sooner that he learned those things, to give him a better chance of earning some time on the floor. But those guys know it's not like it was 3 years ago when we had to count on a lot of freshmen to come in and be a huge part of what we were doing right away. These guys really got to earn it because we're an older group, and they have guys that they not only have to try to beat out for minutes, but just to get some opportunities on the floor. But they understand that, so I think that's the sign of us becoming a better team, and those guys are pushing them, every day. Malik Dia, he was, before he got hurt, he had a little stress fracture. He's starting to work his way back, so he should be full strength in a couple of weeks. He's starting his basketball-related workouts at the end of this week. But the first week that he was here, he was probably our leading rebounder. So, and then we know what his skill set is from an offensive standpoint. Guy that can space the floor out to three. A lot of pieces. A walk-on, Miles Keith, who has been as impressive as any of our freshmen. With his length and, again, his ability to understand the assignment, understand what he's supposed to do, understand our system, understand how to execute a game plan, and those things with me resonate, and it gives you an opportunity to play. No matter whether you're a scholarship guy or you're a walk-on guy, you can ask Drew Weichert about that. So just being able to understand your assignment and work a game plan can give you an opportunity to come here and be a real part of what we're doing. So, am I missing anybody else out of that freshman group? Backup point guard. Yeah. So he's had a good summer. Again, another guy that just understands it. I mean, when you're talking about running a team, he's played at a high level. He played in that DMV league, in the Washington D.C. area. So he's played in big games, played against big competition. So he's not afraid of the moment. He's hard on himself whenever he makes a mistake. You can see him. He really wants to get it right. He really wants to be perfect in what he's doing. And again, just have a great understanding of what we want to do on the defensive side of the football. I expect guys to kind of catch on to the offensive stuff and then maybe struggle a little bit for the defensive side of it. But he's been really good of understanding how we want to rotate and do those things. It just comes to him naturally. So he's been, he was a late pickup for us, but he's been a pleasant addition, and we're looking forward to him continuing to grow. Who else was it? Emmanuel, the guy we picked up late from Wisconsin Green Bay, was probably our second leading scorer in a couple games in Europe. Just a guy that you don't really have to – I love those guys where you don't really have to call a lot of plays for them, but they still find a way to score. And he just has a knack for that, whether it's getting out in transition or, getting to the offensive board, which is a huge part of who we want to be. We want to be a team that really pound the board, still have good floor balance, not allowing easy opportunities in transition, but really, sending guys to the glass so when we're not shooting it well, we can give ourselves, some second chance opportunities. And he's the guy. He and Miles Keith both really stood out this summer at guys that are going to go every time and again execute the game plan and do their assignment within what we're doing.
What was the story on landing him? Because that was a really late ad, and he's got a unique background. I think he's a D2 player for 2 years. How did you find him that late?
I just think we were kind of tossed up about whether we were going to keep it open, but it's just like, in college basketball, when you have an injury or something like that, it's tough to hold a scholarship, So we were really thought about it, and he got into school on his own, really really smart kid. Came up here for a workout on his own dime. He wanted to be here, So those are the kind of guys that you want to add. And then when he comes in and does some things on the floor that gives us. My wife said he looks like me. I don't know if that on the basketball court. So I think that's a pretty I think that's a compliment. So, but no, I think he just has a knack. He's wiry. He's fast. He can score the basketball. I mean, he averaged double figures for 2 years. I mean, double figures is double figures, and I think that just with the pieces that we had, again, more so than anything, it's just going to push. It's going to make everything competitive. I mean, like the Miles Studi, the guys that have been around here, they're going to get pushed every day from guys like Emmanuel, guys like Colin Smith. So it's like you have to come in with a approach of competing every day, and we for the most part we've had that, but I just think our talent pool is at a level now where you really have to come in and focus and work every day, and we're excited about what that'll bring.
Losing Scotty, obviously that loses a lot of a big high volume scorer. How are you feeling about some of the new scoring options after the European tour?
Well, I mean, I think Scotty was Scotty for us. He was great. I don't know. Ideally, that's how we would want to play. Mostly in our system, really. We want more of a distributing point guard. We still want guys that can be able to score, and I think Ezra is like that. He's more of a guy that can get into the paint. He's not as much of a three-point threat. Though he's working on that aspect of his game, but just his ability to get in the paint and pull triggers. And get other guys easy opportunities, whether it's drop-offs or kicking out for sprays to our shooters. He just has a dynamic that's, it's different than Scotty, but I think it could be, just as effective as Scotty was for us in what he's did. But I think the other guys are going to benefit from his. Just from his sheer quickness and his ability and his unselfishness, his ability to get into the ball and create havoc on defense for our guys that, can get in passing lanes and things like that. His own ball pressure is really going to help them and, want to create a lot of easy opportunities. Again, yes, we want to be really good in our half-court offense where we can, run our stuff and run our sets, but as many opportunities as we can get to get up, get in transition and get easy opportunities, we want to take advantage of that. So it's definitely we will miss Scottie Pippen, no doubt about that. I mean, he had as good a career as anybody that has come through here for us. But I think we've got some really good options and different type point guards than what Scottie was. So Scottie was more of a combo, and I think we have some natural point guards, and I'm excited about what their skill set can really do for our schemes.
The NIL collective sounds like is coming soon. How is that going to perhaps expand the pool of players, especially transfers, that you guys can get going forward?
Well, I mean, I think for us, we're still figuring out a lot of things about that. That's probably a question for Trace. Y'all can pull him up here and ask him that afterwards. But again, just Again, we know that it's going to be a part of it. We want to do all that we can to kind of help our guys and put some dollars in their pocket to where we're not at any disadvantage from any other school in the SEC or any school in the country. So we're going to be, creative and do some things from that standpoint. We're still working on some things. So, but for us, it hadn't really been a real big talking point in the guys that we've been on. I think it's not to say that it won't become that, but I think the guys that we've recruited want to come to Vanderbilt because of, Vanderbilt want to come to Vanderbilt because of what we're building from the program, and understanding if they do those things and handle their business there, that there are going to be some opportunities for them later on to get some real money. Not to say that the NIL, you see what the Oscar Tshiebwe's and those guys were able to do, but I don't know if that's necessarily our model. We have some supporters who've trying to create some different type of NIL opportunities, whether it's more kind of from a philanthropy standpoint and things like that. So it's more coming down the pipe with that. But for us right now, we're just trying to take care. I love to take care of the guys that have been here, right? The guys that have did all the things that we've asked them to do. The Quentin Malora Browns, the Jordan Wrights, trying to take care of those guys that are proven. I think hopefully that's how this thing ultimately gets structured. You're going to have to put something on the front end for some certain guys, but again, I don't know if that's our model. We would love to have a model where we reward the guys that have shown that they can contribute and really have been instrumental into in our success up until this point.
I think Ezra had seen he had his own clothing line. I think he's maybe an architecture major. Seems like an interesting kid. What's your take on him just as a person?
No, he really is an interesting kid. He does have his own clothing line. I hadn't got a care package yet, but I'm pretty sure it's on its way. But no, he's just a really smart kid, man, and just a guy. I mean, from a point guard standpoint, you really like it because he was mixing with everybody. Just you kind of have an eye as a coach, of just kind of seeing who little cliques and whatnot. It just naturally happen, guys that kind of spend a little bit more time with each other than others. But he was with everybody. He was with Q for a little bit. He was with some of the freshmen. So I just think having a guy with that type of personality is great for any team. But he is an outgoing kid. But he's serious. He's serious about basketball. And when you sit in film sessions and as you correct him on things that he needs to do better, he comes out and he does them, and his speed is just so elite that he can make mistakes within your scheme and still get it right. So I think that's again, those are great qualities to have from that point guard spot, because I always talk about that being the head of the snake as far as offense and defense, and he fits here. I mean, I'm glad that we have him for 2 years, and to where he can really help groom Paul and Isaiah West, guys that we got coming in, and young guys. So he's going to be really good. He's a leader. And I think not only on the basketball court, but being able to have his own clothing line this early in life shows that he's a leader off the court as well.
I think we know most of your key games on the non-conference schedule at this point. What was sort of your philosophy in terms of what type of schedule you wanted to have for this season?
Well, we always want to have a solid schedule. We want to have a really good schedule. We want to test. Man, it's great to have gaudy numbers going into the SEC play, but we rather have quality games to make sure that we're prepared for what's ahead of us in the SEC play. So I think from that standpoint, we got Memphis on there. We got go to Temple this year. VCU has always been a tough game for us. Mentioned NC State, playing them in Chicago. A couple tough teams out west when we go to Anaheim, St. Mary's, and so it's we wanted to do that. Obviously, we also wanted to give back and be able to bring in a couple of HBCUs to those schools really struggle with their budgets, and kids that they say you got room and board, and then you get there and the room and board's not paid for. So we understand that that's a real plight, and having an opportunity to be who we are and be able to give back to some in some of those situations, and still trying to find quality teams to play that give us a good test. I think Wofford's on our schedule as a team that have been really good, been a tournament team. So we're excited about our non-conference schedule, but for us, it's still you're gonna get your quad one wins out of our from our season. By going in and handling your business and doing what you're supposed to do, whether it's at home or on the road. And we want to make sure that we put games on the schedule to give us good preparation for that.
When you came in, you wanted to be a hard-nosed defensive program. You didn't have the guys. Last year, I think you were top 50 in Ken Palm on that end, and you did it without a couple of your better guys a lot of the year. You feel like you're really putting your stamp on that end of the floor?
Yeah, we're starting to. Again, I think adding guys that I think it's for a little bit for everybody to kind of understand the type of players that we need to attract. For us to have that type of success. I mean, I think our numbers just to continue to get better defensively, offensively as well. I mean, just with having understanding and know-how what we want to do and what we want to get accomplished on the offensive end, but defensively, having rim protection, have guys that can get into the ball. We got guys that just have a natural ability to anticipate. Right, so in passing lanes and things like that, so you can see us doing a little bit more denying, doing a little bit more full court press and things like that. I'm excited about that, just having that recovery. Because you're going to get beat when you have those high risk defensive schemes like that. When you're getting out and trapping, and we've had some success with it. Maybe it's bad coaching. I should have done it a little more than I have, because whenever we get, we've been down and we've needed to get back in games and we got into but I'm just a stickler when it comes to a man-to-man defense, because you can have all of the trick defenses, whether you're switching everything and doing all these different things, but ultimately you're going to have somebody to figure that out. So our staple is our half-court man-to-man defense. We're going to be super, super stout in that, but being able to throw some wrinkles in with our zone, which has been good for us, and now being able to have the depth and the athletic ability to extend that a little bit more to a 3-quarter and 4 quarters is some things that we're definitely going to look at doing, more this year.
What have you seen out of Jordan this summer?
Jordan's been good. He's been solid. He's hard worker for sure, but just his leadership. I think that's it's his time. It's his team. I think he's always kind of, maybe even though they were really, really close, he still kind of deferred to Scotty a little bit from the standpoint of owning, with ownership of the team. And I think there's no question about it right now that it's him and Quentin Millard-Brown, and just from his sheer leadership qualities, Ezra is going to step to the forefront of being our main leaders. Not to not to take anything away from Miles Studio or Trey Thomas, guys that have been in our system and understand what we're doing, but just those guys are the guys that we're going to depend on, especially on the defensive end, because they know exactly what they're supposed to do, and it's just a matter of them going out there and executing. With younger guys, they kind of know, and but they don't know it as well as these guys. So that's why they're who they are. And Tyrone Lawrence, same thing, just a guy that he's had a really, really good summer. I think he really continued to trend in the right direction for how he ended the season. This was really his first year having a full off season. Like, he spent all last summer in rehab, so now he's had a full summer shooting the ball better. He's getting downhill at the level, at the elite level that we anticipated him getting downhill at when we recruited him out of high school. So it's just good to see him get back to full strength from a really significant knee injury.
Thank you guys.
All right,
Appreciate it.
All right.